What's good, football fans? I wanted to take this video, this podcast episode, however you're going to consume it, this piece of content, and dedicate it to talking about who is going to be the best team in the 2022 NFL season, and why the answer to that question is the New Orleans Saints. Okay, now I know what you're thinking. You're like, really, the Saints? They have to compete with the Bucks. Jameis Winston, I don't know, coming off an injury, wasn't really, only had part of the season underneath him before that injury, and then before that he was with the Bucks, and we all know how that went. But I went through and rated every starter and every really person who's going to get on the field for significant amounts of time. Not including injuries. I didn't go through all the possible injury scenarios. That's insane. So basically including slot corners, including RB2s that get a lot of touches, right? I went through and graded every single player that's going to get on the field consistently for every single team, offense and defense. And I made rankings off of that. And these rankings suggest that the New Orleans Saints are going to be the best team in the NFL. Okay, I'm not going to get into all the math of the rankings and how star factors played into it and this, that, and the other. But for any team to hit 11-point rating, which is insane. That basically means you have the perfect team. Even if, you have to consider 3 linebackers and a slot corner, so you're talking about 12 players, right? Okay. That might be, that's going to help boost the score. But even then, no team hit 11 points because that's just, no team's that good. No team's nearly that good. No team has that much of a perfect depth chart where you're not going to lose, significant points, right? Significant rating points, in a couple spots on the offense and defense. With all that being said, the Saints scored a 10.7 again on this ratings for defense, right? They got Shai Tuttle, David Onyemata, Cam Jordan, Marcus Davenport. They got hella linebacking core, including Pete Werner, Zach Bond. On the back end, just the start. Let's just talk about the starters. Paulson Adebo, Marshawn Lattimore, Tyrann Mathieu, and Marcus May. Not to talk, C.J. Gardner-Johnson's in there, Bradley Roby. Just so much talent on the back end to think about. This is just a phenomenal defense. Their rating was like a 10.76, which is the closest to 11 for offense and defense. The best offense was the Bucks offense that got a 10.71. Phenomenal, incredible. Saints defense got a 10.76. Off the charts, man. Incredible to think about. Okay. Then for the offense, they ranked top 10. Why? Well, think about Jameis. He's not a Sam Darnold, but he's not, Aaron Rodgers. Right? So he's an okay quarterback. Now, okay, so that's what it is. But let's look at the pieces around him on this offense. You got a pretty complete offensive line. Yes, your left tackle, question mark, can Trevor Penning fill that spot? Maybe it's James Hurst that's going to end up taking it. We don't know. But you got Alvin Kamara, playmaker. Taysom Hill is now not even the backup quarterback. That's Andy Dalton. Taysom Hill, playmaker. Mark Ingram, little old, still got some juice. Playmaker, good power. They also got that running back Jones that sort of some nice things last year. Adam Trautman, not a bad tight end. And I just said him next because I want to talk about these receivers, man. You got Michael Thomas coming back. Phenomenal. Okay, great talent. Even if he is slant boy, he's a great talent. Really helps things out. Chris Olave, good speed, can fill in the slot. And you got Marquez Callaway, came along nicely at the end of last year. So what does that mean? Jameis has so many playmakers around him. He doesn't have to do all that much. Taysom Hill is now free to join all the offensive packages. He can be fullback, halfback, wide receiver, tight end, everything. You got good receivers. You got a nice tight end. You got good running backs. All aside from Taysom Hill. And so pair this offense, which is a sound, good offense. Again, so many playmakers. Playmakers help you win games. Pair it with that defense, which is just complete, phenomenal, and deep. Just really deep. Now, okay, I don't know how deep their front seven isn't as deep as their back end. But complete defense, deep in the back end. Got some nice pieces for sure. This team is my pick to be the best in the NFL. They are the only team to break 21 points when you combine the rating for the offense and defense. So the only team to break 21 points. The Chargers were close. Their defense ranked 10.46. Their offense was about 9.9. The right side of the offensive line is a little shaky. Plus, they use a slot wide receiver. Those things would boost their scores if they improved. But the Saints are just the most ready, and the Bucs are missing some D-line's like a little bit of a question. The back end's not as beautiful as the Saints is. So that's why, even though they had the best offense, their defense didn't really put them over the top like the Saints defense did. But I mean, just looking at the numbers, the Saints are the best roster in the NFL. Okay, now injuries can affect people in weird ways, granted, but the Saints are also fairly deep at a lot of positions. And you have to consider the fact that injuries affect everybody. So yeah, people on the Saints may get hurt. People on every team may get hurt, man. So if you start at the best spot, people get hurt. People get hurt across the board. You can still end in the best spot after injuries. Love the Saints to be the best team in the NFL in 2022. I love their Super Bowl odds right now. 44-1 was what I saw. I love that. It's a bold pick. You're thinking the Rams, the Packers, the Bucs, maybe the Cowboys, maybe the Eagles had a very nice offseason. The numbers don't lie, man. The ratings were consistent across teams. So, consistent math is what's important. And the Saints are just, because the consistent numbers, the rankings say that, they're the best team. So, not going to continue harping on that, even though I want to, because I'm hyper-focused on these things. But, okay, Saints best team in the NFL in 2022. Enjoy the rest of your day. And I hope you like this channel. I'm going to be putting out football content pretty consistently on here. I also put it out on... So actually, beside that, just assumed you're watching on YouTube, for which the channel is the Football Philosopher channel. But if you heard this on Spotify or whatnot, okay, so that's the YouTube. The Spotify that this is going to be on is the Football Philosopher podcast. The Instagram is _football_philosopher. I also have a Twitter, the Football Phi, PHI at the end. And that's that, man. So I hope you enjoyed this. I'm looking forward to watching the Saints, really all these teams. So many teams excite me, but for future videos. So stay tuned.